gentle listener, and welcome to our first ever episode of Prima Nerd Podcast. My name is Nisa, and I am joined as always by my lovely co-host and cousin Bella.
Hello, everybody.
She'll be joining me from Brazil, and as some of you may not, if you have not heard our intro episode, we are doing a podcast about movies, TV shows, and it's just going to be a conversation between the two of us, and we don't even know where it's going to go. We're going to fall down a rabbit hole. It's going to just lead to disaster and hilarity. It's going to be a fun comedic adventure that I hope you'll join us on. And we'll also be doing this in English and in Portuguese. That is what makes our podcast different, is the fact that we're doing it in two different languages.
Yes.
So, do you want to tell our audience what we're going to be talking about, Bella?
Well, our first episode, we choose to talk about Black Panther because we thought it would be a good idea, and because, it's a nerd movie and everybody likes.
Yep.
And
based off a comic book superhero.
Exactly. And also, it's a way for us to honor Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about Black Panther.
Yeah. So, No, what were you going to say? I was going to say, I remember the first time, I had thought recently about something about the first time I watched it that I didn't realize the second time, but it comes in later. So let's talk about what we thought about the movie. I loved it.
Okay.
First time. I love this movie.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
It's definitely one of my favorites out of all the Marvel's movies so far. It's definitely up there as one of my favorites. Since I don't have favorites, I can't say it is my favorite because I don't know how to have favorites. But from the moment I saw it, I loved this movie. I loved the cast. I think they had amazing chemistry, which I think is very important. And of course, the locations are amazing. The fight choreography amazing. The costumes are brilliant. I don't know how else to say it. It's just an amazing movie.
Yes, I agree. It's one of my favorite movies of Marvel Universe as well. I can't say it's the favorite because it's 20 movies, so it's kind of difficult to choose only one.
It is.
And so I think in the first place I can put Black Panther, Guardians of the Galaxy.
The first one.
The first place, for my favorites.
No, but just the first one, not Guard the Galaxy Volume 1. You only like Volume 1.
Yeah, right? just the first, because I don't like the second. We can discuss this later.
But I wanted to make sure that distinction
because I hate this movie. I hate
this is
so much this movie. But yeah, and the other one that is one of one of my favorites, and I can't choose between them, is Infinity War. So this three is my favorite. I can't choose one of them because
I don't know what my top three are. All I know is that Black Panther is definitely up there. I just don't know what the other two are at the moment. I love the moment. I love this movie. I remember being super excited when I found out that, because again, I'm not a comic book reader, so I don't really know much about comic books, but I was super excited when I found out that there was going to be another superhero movie. And then I read a little bit of, it also was always excited when it's going to be, the first mainstream movie, not just a character in another person's story who was Black. That I was super excited about. And I think it was also Black Panther was written as one of the first Black superheroes, at least for Marvel. And
no, there is other superheroes that is Black, like Falcon.
Yeah, but I don't know if Falcon was originally Black when he started. I don't remember that. I know that Black Panther was, when he was originally written as a Black superhero.
Okay. You mean in the comics?
In the comics, yeah. I don't know, like that Black in the comics. When it was first written, I think it was the first one for Marvel. I'm not sure. Yes, of course you have Falcon, and of course you have like Storm and X-Men and all those things. So it's not like it's the first time we see it, but this is the first time we see the main movie be not only a Black superhero but a Black cast.
Yes,
I was super excited. And I loved his character in Civil War. I really loved his character, so I was super excited to then watch the
Mm-hmm.
movie. My favorite thing about the character was that he had this ability to not be overwhelmed or consumed by revenge and anger, because he is the only
Mm-hmm.
one who is able to step outside and be like, this is not right, because everything else goes on.
Yeah,
He's
I
the one who's
agree.
able to step outside and be like, this is not what we should be doing, right? He's has the
Yeah,
ability to do that. And then you see that even
yeah.
more in the movie. But in the obviously in Civil War, he's not very funny. There's no comedic. He just has that ability of being. You sense that he's very kind, he's very compassionate, but he's also
Mm-hmm.
very powerful. Like he has that. Like the moment where where you see him like in that he wears hold the ring and like pulled it over his hand, you know that this man is like not to be. That he has that there's more
Yeah.
to him than just this sweetness. So I love
Uh-huh.
the beginning of Black Panther, long-winded way of finally getting to the
No,
topic.
wait. I want to talk about the Civil War. Wait.
Well, we're
Come
talking about Black
on.
Panther, not Civil War.
Yeah, I know, but you talk about Civil War. I want to talk about it too because I like mm, I was very curious about Black Panther in this movie, in the Civil War,
Mm-hmm.
and I was very happy that they made um a whole movie just for him. I
Yeah.
Because I was really like, I want to know more about him and his culture, like
Mm-hmm.
more about Wakanda and everything. So, um,
Oh, speaking of
yeah,
Wakanda, you know that the first time Wakanda was mentioned in the Marvel universe was in Iron Man 2?
no, Iron Man 2?
Yeah,
I
the
thought it
first time
was
it's meant. No,
in,
no, it's
I thought
mentioned
it
in
was
Iron.
in Civil War.
No, Civil War. They also mentioned it again, but I read somewhere, I read a little factoid that the first time it's mentioned is actually, I forgot how it's mentioned, but it's mentioned in
Mm-hmm.
two. But the one that I really remember is in Age of Ultron. That's when it's like
Yeah.
it's actually full. It's really mentioned, and I think you even hear a little bit of what the
Oh, yeah.
soundtrack will be, what the music is going to be like. I think in that moment too, a
Mm.
little bit.
Oh, okay. I don't remember in Iron Man 2 as well. I don't remember.
Haven't seen it in a really long
I
time, so I can't really say.
I remember in Age of Ultron
Yeah,
when they are dealing the
with Claw and
vibranium.
Vibranium. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So Black Panther.
Oh no, you're gonna talk. Okay, so you were mentioning Civil War, but I just wanted to give you that little factoid of when it was first ever mentioned. But
Hmm.
so Black Panther, loved the way the movie begins. Right, you see him on the ship. He's with Okoye, who is
Hmm.
also, I have to say, Okoye is one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, mine as well.
She's
She's so
amazing.
strong, and
Did not.
also she's strong, but also you can see that she cares.
She's very
You
nurturing
know.
too. Something about her sounds very
Yeah.
nurturing. Um, the actress who plays her, Denai, I forgot her last name. I feel really bad that I forgot her last name. I love her. She's amazing in this movie. And she's also apparently supposed to be also well known for Walking Dead, but I have yet to watch Walking Dead. So I love the scene where he's like turned to her and says, "I can do this on my own." The look on her face where she just puts the weapon down that she's holding, she's like, "Okay." And she's like, she's like, "I don't approve, but whatever you say." And then, but
She's
I love
very
how
expressive.
she is. And then I love it when she like turns to him and says, "Don't freeze." And I just love him looking back at her. I never freeze. And then he does see Nakia, and what does he do? Freeze. And
Freeze.
I love that moment so much. But I love that there's like
Yeah.
this relationship is very much based on respect, that they care for one another, but she's
Mm-hmm.
also kind of like, I'm gonna also call you out when you're being silly or something. I'm also gonna feel very free to make fun of you because I knew
Yeah.
something like this was gonna happen, and I'm just gonna enjoy it.
Yeah. So they have like an intimacy that is between them and doesn't um, atrapalha how can I say
Get
that?
in the way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
get in the way. They have this intimacy that doesn't get in the way of the respect
yeah,
between them because
yeah.
he is her king, and
Hmm.
but they, you know, like the intimacy doesn't feel
Yeah.
awkward.
No, they have a connection that feels like very much like
Yeah.
maybe their family or more.
Mm-hmm.
And then I love it when she like arrives in Wakanda. By the way, that moment where you see like this says we have arrived, and you see the landscape and you see the
Amazing.
animals running like that. It is
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. I look at it and I go, of course, it must be even prettier in person because obviously a film does a much better job than a than you taking pictures without a professional camera, but it's still not
Mm-hmm.
the same as actually seeing it in person. I said every time I
Yeah.
watch it, I'm like, I want to see this in real life.
Yeah, because in real life you have the whole atmosphere,
Yeah,
not just the visual. You have you can feel in the skin
the
and the
sun.
smells. Yeah, so it's more complete. Yeah, I agree with
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
So and then it's
Um,
also really beautiful when you first enter into Wakanda too, right? Like that.
oh, the scene was just, I was like, okay, it was a amazing forest and view, but when they enter the shield, is the shield
Yeah, it's
that's
a
the
shield.
shield?
It's a force field. Force field. Force
Force
field.
shield, yeah. So they enter the shield is, I was like, whoa, because
Yeah.
it's a unique city because you can see that it's very developed, like in with
Developed. Yeah.
technology. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, because it's
With
the same word in Portuguese, but you just have different. You just have a few
yeah, it's
more words
yeah.
added.
It's like
Always happens.
the sometimes the pronunciation gets weird when the
Oh,
word
yeah,
is
yeah.
too similar. Um,
Welcome to my world.
thank you. But so there is the technology and skyscrapers and buildings, but also there is a lot of nature. So
Trees.
it's they complete each other. Like
Yeah,
it's not like the cities that grew so much that takes the place of the nature and the trees and
yeah,
everything. So
yeah.
it's kind of what we know now that we need um, um, vegetação.
What? Say that again. Oh,
Vegetação.
a vegetation. Vegetation.
Is vegetation? Okay, so we need vegetation in the cities in order to cool the city, and it's like
Yeah.
more beautiful as well. So
Oxygen.
oxygen. Oh, we don't need this. Kidding.
No, we do not.
Um, and it's like they always knew this. Like
Yeah,
the city is growing, and they know the importance of the nature and the
yeah,
vegetation.
yeah. And
So
also some.
they complete each other. It's
Yeah,
beautiful to see.
yeah, and it's also this idea too of like the yeah, lost my train of thought. That's going to happen.
The
Welcome to our
buildings.
conversations. Welcome to our conversations, people. This is going to happen a lot. I'm going to start something in the middle of it, completely forget what I was trying to say. That is how my brain functions. So don't remember. We're going to move on because I can't remember what I was going
Okay.
to say. Oh no,
If
that's what I
you
was going to say. Now I remember. I remembered it
oh,
now. This
okay, okay.
happens every time. This is how. So I also had this feeling like the buildings were kind of built as a way to like as an extension of nature. Like sometimes it felt like the buildings
Mm-hmm.
were like built into something that was already originally there, and they just kind of
Uh-huh.
created it along with it, kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. So
Yeah.
that if that made any sense. But the other two fun
Makes
facts I wanted to point out is one. Uh, I remember now. The Wakanda first appears on a shield monitor in Iron Man 2, like one of the computer screens. It's not like it just
okay.
appears and that's the first time. But then again, it's one of
Okay.
those Easter eggs that if you're paying attention, you see it, go, oh, if you know what it is, because I
Hmm.
obviously did. And then the first time, we fully see a mention of it, and also has the music playing in the background.
Hmm.
It's in Age of Ultron. The other thing is, when we have that flashback to where we
Hmm.
see T'Chaka confronting his brother,
Hmm.
right? And then the actor who plays young T'Chaka, the
Hmm.
dad, is actually the T'Chaka's son, like the actor who plays old T'Chaka's actual son, who plays the young version of him in the movie. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that. It's
Yeah, I thought that was really cool when I read about. Like, oh, that's kind of fun. You picked his son to play the younger
hmm.
version of him. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and they
Yeah,
make sense because they look alike. So
yeah. So then you're wondering, oh my god, he
obviously,
looks so much like. No, but if you're watching, oh my god, they look so much alike. It's like, yeah, that's good. It's its son. Oh, that makes
uh-huh.
more sense.
Makes totally sense now.
Yeah, yeah. But I love those little tidbits that
Hmm.
happen, like when you read about a movie or something. And then we
Yeah.
get to one of my favorite scenes, and it's when we get introduced to Shuri, because I love Shuri. I love the
Mm.
fact that, again, but what I love about this movie is the different types of strong women.
Yeah.
Like, you have Okoye, who's the warrior, who's the fighter. You have the spy, who's also the person who's more into social, like, but she also has this big heart of wanting to protect everyone
Hmm.
and help people. She like stops in the beginning when you first meet her. She stops T'Challa from killing a kid. She's just a boy, and like she stops
Hmm.
him from, like, she's like, she's very aware, and she's also there to help people, right? She's very compassionate and all, and that she's also a spy.
Hmm.
And then you have Shuri, who's the scientist, right?
Yeah.
So you have like all these different fields of showing strong women, and of course you have the queen, who doesn't know
Yeah.
how to fight, but she's very strong. And like when you see that moment where we first meet the family,
Yeah.
she obviously makes fun of her brother, and she's like, she goes, "Did he freeze?" I love it when she turns to Okoye and she's like, "Did he freeze?" He goes like, "He went to the cotton headlights." But the way she says it just says that it's not formal at all. Like the way she
Yeah.
responds, like, "Oh, girl," she's just like, "Oh, you have no idea." Wait, I have to tell you. Like, then she wants to say, "Wait, let me tell you this story when we have a chance." Like, it sounds like she's like, that they're like, there's something, again, that intimacy, that like there is, yes, they're to respect the royal family, but it's not like this
Mhm.
super strict separation, which is
Yeah.
also actually even really pointed out in like Infinity Wars, when
Yeah.
Bruce Banner goes to meet and they ask, should we bow? He goes, yeah, and then he bows and everyone's like, we don't do that here.
Yes,
So
I
it's like that
remember this.
moment too.
Yeah,
But
I
there's something
like
that I
this.
like that.
They are
Yeah,
not
but I
they are
also
not
really,
untouchable. Like
they're not formal. They're not untouchable. They're not unapproachable. That's the word.
unapproachable. Yeah.
Um, the other thing I really like is something that Shuri says to him when she goes, "Hey, did the beads work? Right, the beads that they wear, did they work?" And he
Hmm.
goes, "Yeah, they work." And she goes, "Give them to me. I want to." She basically wants to give them to me. I want to improve on them. He goes, "What do you mean they work just fine?" She goes, "When are you going to learn? Just because something works doesn't mean it can't be improved upon." And I
Hmm.
kind of feel that that's kind of foreshadowing what's going to happen, like how T'Challa approaches what he wants to do, right? He doesn't see something works, but he wants to improve upon it. He takes
Yeah.
something and makes it. I think he learns to do that too. He learns to adapt and take something that it's like Wakanda works perfectly by itself. It doesn't need the
Anyone.
outside world.
Yeah, other
But he
countries.
decides, we can improve upon that. We can help others. We can
Yeah,
make the world a
it's
better place.
true.
We can improve.
Yeah, it's true.
So I thought
But
that was,
yeah, and also shows that she likes this. She doesn't do this because they
yeah,
need or um, you know, she does because she loves it and she
yeah,
enjoys this. Like
mm-hmm.
you see the excitement of her showing
Yeah.
the things
She loves discovering,
yeah.
creating, making things.
Hmm.
I
She
also
loves the laugh.
loved when, yeah, I also love that when she's walking away, her brother. I love T'Challa being like, "I can't wait to see what you're gonna do with your ceremonial robe," and she like gives him the middle finger, and I just love that that you do not mess with the queen. Forgot her
Uh-huh.
name, but the actress is a very very famous actress, Angela Bassett. She's like, She just says, Shuri, and you just see her go, sorry, Mom, but I love the fact she doesn't turn around. She doesn't even move. And you're like, the woman has to have eyes at the back of her head. Because Shuri doesn't even make anything, like, there's like no, I paid attention to this when I rewatched it. For us to talk about it in the podcast.
The queen just knows the daughter so
her
much.
Kids.
That it's like,
because I was trying to look
doesn't
at
need to
T'Challa's
see
face.
to
Maybe
know.
he had a reaction. Yeah. It was but I just love that moment. She's like, sorry. And she continues walking. Mind you, this is a full-grown adult. And she's still like, sorry, Mom.
Yeah.
So I love that. And then, of course, you have one of the most important scenes, the ceremony, where he becomes the Black Panther.
And I love this scene because, again, this thing that they knew, the producers, the Marvel Studios, they did this very, very, very well. That bring the culture, like the very ancient culture, and the technology and the nowadays world. And again, in this scene, they have the dance and the music that is very, very cultural. You can see this.
Yeah,
and
there's
the ceremony, and the ceremony as like it's a tradition, and you see the technology opening the waterfall, and it's like, it's amazing because it's not weird. They knew how to do it. And
the boats they arrive in, the clothes that they're wearing, it's all very traditional looking. Like the boats look like wooden boats, and then I think Okoye just like stamps her staff, and the vibrations open the mechanics to release the water so that way they can have the waterfall. Speaking of the waterfall, can I just say it is a beautiful moment where like and then T'Challa arrives in like a very, very, very advanced, modernized ship, right? Plane. That plane is very modern, and he arrives, and he's standing there, and you're seeing it from basically his point of view, because you get his back walking to see that beautiful scene. It's beautiful, right? You see all these different tribes everywhere, everyone's standing, the beautiful different colors in the waterfall. But I'm watching this and I'm like, why on earth would no one be terrified of standing that close to an edge with there's like no barriers? These are rocks that have just had water on them, and there might be slippery. How I'd be scared. I would not want to be all the way at the top. I'd be terrified. I'm like, I was watching this and I'm like, this is actually kind of scary.
I would feel uncomfortable being like up a rock
that high up with nothing to hold on to, and like having to stand that close
and dancing.
To the edge. No,
and dancing, because in the beginning they are dancing.
And I'm like, that's terrifying. I don't think I noticed it the first time. Then I rewatched it and I'm like, that's terrifying. I mean, it looks beautiful, but I would not want to be one of the people standing there, because I'm like, that is scary. That is very high up.
You just need to be like a normal civilian. Civilian.
Yeah, that's right. No, that's that's not for me. I'm not a fan of heights. But that's still a beautiful scene, right? I think they were mentioning something about, I watched special behind the scenes featurettes about it, and I remember they were talking about how much they love that scene, right? Because it's all these amazing. It's just basically everyone is on that moment. It's all Black actors, right, from all different walks of life, different places. They're not all from the same place, and I think they started playing music in the background before they filmed the scene. They were listening to music, and it was a very beautiful moment besides them just filming it. But I wish I'd remembered more. But I just remember this right now, that's something I remember watching. Because I love special features, so I will watch some of the special features when I get a movie. When I own Black Panther, hence why I watch the special features. So I love that moment too. But them talking about how wonderful it was to film it.
And we have the typical scene that the hero will win the fight,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's obviously so.
Yeah. So, because I love that moment, right? Where everyone is asking, will anyone, because I love the fact, here's a question I have.
What?
Here's a question I have.
What?
One, you have, he takes the heart-shaped herb
Yeah,
to
the
get rid of the
power.
powers of the Phantom.
Yeah,
To get rid of the powers. My question is, when did he first get the powers? Did we miss something?
No. Oh, okay. I know. I think I know the answer. I think it's before Civil War because the father, the king, T'Chaka, was old. So
Okay, so yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, the powers of the Black Panther has already
Was already passed on.
Yeah, to T'Challa.
And now because they need someone to have the power of the Black Panther, so the king is too old to have it. They passed it on to his son. Now that the son is going to become king, they need to remove it again to then give it to him again, officially making him king. Gotcha. But it was a moment that I was watching
I
it.
think
I'm like,
is that it's different. It's different ceremonies. Like
yeah,
he was the Black Panther before became king. So now the throne is changing.
Now he's being coronated. Coronated.
Yeah,
right? Is that right? Coronated? Whatever. I think I got that word
coronation.
Right. Coronated. I think it's the word I'm looking for.
Okay. So I think it's different titles.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that I forgot. I was at that moment. I'm like, wait, when did he first get the what?
Yeah, no, but I had this thought as well, but I get on this explanation for myself, and for me works, and I
no, I think that actually is the explanation, but I think maybe I actually saw this before. Maybe I didn't. Okay, it's one of those things. When you watch a movie, a lot of times you sometimes have questions that you never thought about before, and you've watched it so many times now. New things appear. So that's one of the questions I had before. I didn't even question it. I don't think. But I love the fact that everyone's like, oh, the River Tribe is not going to challenge today. This is not going to challenge today. And then I just love anyone from and then in Zuri, it's like anyone from the royal family wants it. And I just love Shuri raising her hand and being like, this corset is too tight. Can we get this over with? I love that moment. And but the two things I love about that moment, the mom looking at her like, girl, why are you my daughter? Like, why? Why would you say that? And then two, I just love to
what I did wrong raising you.
And then she's like, what? I'm being serious. Why are we doing this? And she's like, but she's also like, come on, guys, who's gonna? She in her mind, she's like, there's really no point in even asking this question. No one's gonna challenge.
Yeah.
And then I just love T'Challa just like shaking his head. Yeah. But also love T'Challa's head just shaking his head like, oh man, why? Just of course you would do this. And then of course M'Baku appears. Can I just say that mask was terrifying when you like it's like because you're coming in from like the shadows, like this tunnel part of the cave, right? So you don't see, you just see the mask because again it's like covering his face. So you see the mask like appear out of the shadows. It's kind of terrifying. I remember the first time I watched it, I'm like, that's kind of weird. And then it's also really weird to watch him, like hear him speak through the mask of like this yelling.
Yeah.
It's like kind of weird. And then also, and then of course she challenged T'Challa. They fight. T'Challa puts on a mask himself. And I'm like,
of course he wins because he needs to win. He needs to be the Black Panther. Doesn't have a movie at all.
No. But I love.
I love this.
But I remember asking when I saw the mask, being like, why did people think putting on a mask? Doesn't that kind of like how is that like how do you have confidence fighting wearing that, right? Because you're very limited in what you can see in these masks.
Well,
training
maybe training, but it's like the helmets from
I always find helmets
the knights.
They're like slits. Knights. Just the slits.
So I don't like protection is more important than seeing
visibility.
Fighting.
Sure. Yeah. One of the moments that I liked in the fight between T'Challa and M'Baku, right when he's about to win, right? He's holding him and he's basically telling him, do not let me kill you. Yield. Your people need you. That goes to show what type of person T'Challa is. Like, he's like, no. You we can't go through with this. Please yield. Your people need you. Like, he's showing a sign of respect. Like, he's not like, I need to prove that I'm the best. He's like, he wants to win. He wants to be he has to be the king because it's his right. But at the same time, he's like, look, you challenge me. That's fine. But you need to survive. Your people need you.
Yeah. Yeah. I love T'Challa because of all this. It's wisdom,
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great amount of
It's wisdom. And kindness, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think it also stems...
And I like this because Chadwick, he was great on transmitting that wisdom, that...
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say
that peace, like it's kind of a peace that he has when he speaks.
Again, I think
it's really good.
Yeah, he has this ability. He was very from what because I watched an ABC, which is a channel here in the U.S. Which is also the channel owned by Disney, which is why it was doing a special on Chadwick.
Yeah.
And
I know this channel because of Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, there you go. But I think actually the special now is on Disney Plus if you ever feel like watching it. I think it's on Disney Plus.
Okay.
Now. You can watch it.
I can look for it.
Yeah. So it was, everyone was talking about him and all that stuff. But what you got, and then I think there's someone who said that he had a very strong sense of justice. Like, he believed in justice. He was also incredibly hardworking, I've heard people say. And then I remember Paul Rudd stuck out to me because I loved what he said. He goes, to all those kids who saw him as their hero, just know the man who played him was an even bigger hero. And that I thought was so beautiful. Like, he was just as much a hero as the character he played. And and I think you also see his body of work, right? Especially while he was fighting, he did so many movies, and then you see how much he was working while he was going through having colon cancer that no one knew. Was that he played a lot of very strong, important historical figures, and especially obviously Black historical figures. But that I feel like I need to go back and rewatch these movies. But he always put 110% into every role he played. He played James Brown. He played Thurgood Marshall and what was the other one? Jackie Robinson.
Player in 42. Yeah,
Jackie Robinson. And he did an amazing job in all this. But I think in order to play these great men, it takes a great man to play a great man. And I think that's why Chadwick was the perfect role. And again, like,
this was very profound.
Thank you. I have my moments. I don't know how many of them I'm gonna have, but every once in a while I throw in a gem.
I watched the James Brown movie that he was the James Brown, and really I was astonished that he danced very well and very like James Brown, and he sings very well. As you like, oh my God!
That probably explains why I found him attractive. The man can sing. Go figure.
One more for your list.
I know. One more for the list.
But when I saw that he actually sings in the movie, like it was his voice, I was impressed because it's very difficult to imitate James Brown.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's very, very difficult. Like, the voice in the movements was amazing.
Yeah.
So I think people who likes James Brown and movies should watch this movie. It's really good, and it was a really good job of Chadwick.
If we haven't made it clear already, we think he was a brilliant actor and brilliant human being. If that hasn't been made clear.
If it's not clear enough at this point.
Yeah. And, you know, also the special that they did, they were honoring him as a king, paying tribute to a king. And I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
I fully believe that. That's a very great way of doing it.
Yeah, me too.
I feel it sucks that, you know, we lost someone as such a beautiful soul as his, especially now.
Too soon.
Too soon, especially now. Like, when everything going on in the world, like, you lose someone with so much light and such a beautiful soul who had so much. He was so young and had so much to live, so much still to do. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it's I'm very sad because it was so powerful having hero that is a main character of a movie that is black for all the children to
look at the screen and say, hey, that looks like me.
Yeah, and give hope, or give, like, you can, like, it's kind of saying to the children, like, you can do it.
Yeah,
you can be amazing. You can, like, be strong. And just not only for the boys but for the girls, because there is the warriors in the screen. You have Shuri, that is brilliant. So it's not just for boys.
Speaking of Shuri,
yeah,
I want her to be the next Black Panther. Just saying.
Me too. And I really hope. I really hope. Me too, because makes sense. The throne probably will pass to her because she's the next in line. On the line. Yeah. And she is strong and she is intelligent and she can do it. Yes. I believe. So
no, I agree.
Fits her.
And also be a very different kind of Black Panther, because we never really seen her fight. So I'm not saying that she doesn't know how. We know that she has an amazing brain. Like, she is a genius.
Yeah. But maybe she used more
technology or
technology
her intellect.
And strategy to fight.
Yeah.
More
than it would be a very different, very, 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 very different Black Panther. And here's what I think, and I think it also kind of resonates with some little bits and pieces that I saw of his speech at Howard. His speech that he gave at Howard University for the graduating class, I think in 2018, I think. But basically, it's a story of how he was given a role. He basically questioned, like, the character wasn't exactly a stereotype, but had fallen into drugs and all these things. And he's like, so he had a chance to talk to the writers, not to the writers, to the producers. And he asked questions because, you know, he's like, not necessarily Black stereotype, but what is it that you're trying to say? So he asked the question, like, where's my father from? Where's my mom from? Where's my dad? Where's my mom? The dad left, and then the mom is couldn't take care of her sons, because the character had a brother, because she was on drugs. Basically, at the end of that conversation, to summarize, he felt he did a really great job the next time when he worked on the next scenes. But the producers decided that he was too difficult to work with and that they didn't want to work with him anymore. And his agents like, you know what, you're going to probably be a while before you can be on television and everything like that. But at the end of it, there's a point where he says, whatever it was, I opened the door so that way the next person, the next Black actor who comes in might have a better chance. So that, going off of that vein, sorry, apparently my voice decided to stop working. Why not put Shuri? Put now a Black female superhero.
Yeah.
In that vein of improving it. We have opened that door. Now let's take it one step further. Why don't have a Black female superhero?
I super agree with you. Yeah. I agree.
And I think Shuri's the best choice.
I would love it.
I just think she's amazing. I love her.
Yeah. Well, let's wait for it, like 2022.
Oh, I have no idea. Maybe? I don't know, because also the other thing is that he was apparently supposed to T'Challa was supposed to appear in the other movies of Phase 4. So now it's
So
because they're all
now they need to
intertwined
rewrite
somehow.
everything.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah, they need to
because
rewrite. Hmm.
yeah, because you need T'Challa to kind of be that connection between Phase 3 and Phase 4. You need one of the originals to kind of be that link, and they had picked
Uh-huh.
T'Challa. Now that means I don't know what they're going to do, but
Yeah,
it's going to be
I
very
really
interesting.
want to see. Yeah, I want to know how they will do this. Like,
Yeah, if they had the idea of putting him in other
organize.
movies,
Yeah, organize everything. Like,
yeah.
yeah. Well, they have another links like Thor and
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
they have other things that they're gonna do, but my comment was I read somewhere that they were wanting to use him to appear in in some of the others.
Yeah.
Now,
Well,
depending on where they are in all of this, that might throw some things up in the air. I mean, obviously now that we're in a pandemic, maybe they have time to maybe work something out because nothing is being filmed yet, started
I'm
filming
very
yet. I don't think.
curious.
It should
I'm
be
very
interesting. It's going to
curious.
be a very, very challenging thing for them to do because they're going to have to honor T'Challa. They're going to have to honor Chadwick
Mm-hmm.
Boseman. They're going to have to talk about the fact that he's gone in the movies, and
Yeah.
also how to work this whole new world as well. Like whatever they
Yeah.
had planned might have
And
to be changed.
the only thing I have to say about this is they need to do a tribute, more emotional than Fast and Furious.
Oh yeah, I still find it
It's
amusing
it's
that
all I ask because
I agree with you. That was very
I
emotional.
cried.
Me too.
I cried, and I'm not a big fan of Paul
No, me
Walker.
neither.
I wasn't a big fan of him, and
Also,
wasn't a
not that
big
big a
fan
fan
of
of the
Fast and
movies.
Furious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the movies, but not like I'm a big fan and everything.
I had
And
big problems with the one placed in
I
Brazil. Just
remember.
saying. Oh,
I
not for the
remember
reasons you
people
think.
saying what?
The reason I had the problem with the one in Brazil has nothing to do with like being what they're showing in Brazil. Well, maybe we'll have a discussion about it. It's not important.
Okay. Well, I forgot.
Paul Walker, not a fan of
Paul Walker.
Fast and
Yeah.
Furious. Tribute to
Yeah.
Chadwick Boseman being more emotional.
Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the movies, Fast and Furious or Paul Walker. And I remember people saying that, oh, it was beautiful, and I cried and everything, and I was like, ah, come on. They are just like, it's not all this.
You're exaggerating.
And when I, yes, and when I watched it, I cried.
Oh, me too.
Like,
I cried on the plane.
really, really cried. So now that is someone that I admire, and I like the universe, the Marvel universe. It's all I ask is to do something more beautiful than they did in Fast and Furious. They need to do this.
No, I agree with you. They do, because I cried too watching Fast and Furious, and I'm like, this is the weirdest thing to say about a Fast and Furious movie. Oh my god, it's so emotional, it's so beautiful, and also crying in a Fast and Furious movie makes no sense. Whereas but the reason it's for someone who doesn't know, for example, years later when people who don't,
there is a bee.
I am so
go. Okay, I will close the window. We can continue now.
So for those of you
sorry, people.
listening, for you to understand what goes on is that we are filming and we are recording this from 2 different countries. And we also do a video chat so that way we can see each other. So that way we're actually having a conversation. I look up and all I see is her freaking out over something, and I'm not understanding why. And then she's trying to attack something with a brush. Not sure what happens.
And holding up.
And then she said there's a bee.
There was a bee.
So again, as I've said before, welcome to our world, welcome to our craziness, and welcome to our comedy relief. Hopefully this has made you laugh, because it definitely made me laugh.
This is me.
Oh, things, you'll see. Things will get funnier at some point, because the 2 of us, like I said, it's a comedy. So But okay, so
What is
I was
saying? Oh, Fast and
saying that
Furious.
Fast and Furious, it was like it's really funny to talk about it, and then I'm like wondering years later, right, when someone
Mm-hmm.
watches it and you see, for example, your kid looks over and sees you crying at the end of this movie, they go, why is this sad? Like, what is
Mm-hmm.
so weird? So it's because
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense. It makes sense for people who knew that he passed away, whereas the Marvel
Yeah.
movies, the Marvel universe does have those very emotional moments sometimes, does have that, so it makes sense
Yeah.
for you to watch it, and they're going to probably do something where it's not just only if you understand that the actor had passed away, you understand why that's emotional. They're actually
Mm-hmm.
going to
Yeah.
address the fact that I think they're gonna say T'Challa passed away. So because of that, you're going to be addressing the
Yeah.
actor and the character. So that's the difference between
Yes.
Fast and Furious too. That's the Fast and Furious and the.
I agree. I agree. And if someone that works on Marvel
Mm-hmm.
listen to this, we have high expectations with you.
I
Okay,
think
just
everyone.
for
I
you to
think
know.
everyone has high expectations. But yes, two
Everyone, yeah.
very unknown people doing a small podcast who doesn't know how many people are going to listen also have high expectations as well.
We doesn't even know if one person will listen to this, but okay.
No, we have maybe like two, maybe three, or anyone.
We have a big family.
Oh yeah, we have a huge. When we
have
say
a big
we
family.
have a big family, we have our moms, our sisters, and they are a family of 15. Most of them have kids. So we have over 20 cousins, I think, right? That's good.
So come on, family, listen to this.
The ones who speak Portuguese, the ones who speak English, I don't know.
Well, come back to Black Panther.
As our tangent has finally finished. So where were we? Oh yes.
Well, we can talk now about the villain. The villains.
Yeah.
There's
two. I was gonna actually there's something that, going back to the whole, and then of course after T'Challa wins the battle with M'Baku, I had a funny reaction to them, like him sitting in the sand and being thrown sand in his face, and I'm like, I'm sorry, who thought it was a good idea to not the actor, the talk about the character, not maybe put a cloth or something over the face, the mouth, the nose before you throw sand on top of them? No one thought maybe that might be a good idea. Okay. This is how you know that that's a movie, because I'm like, I don't think that would not have been painful, because like mouth, nose, everything. But I just remember thinking that, I'm like, really? Is that what we thought? Okay.
Yeah, and he needs to breathe.
Right? That's exactly why I had this thought. And then I love the moment too where he talks to his dad, which to me at some point was quite emotional.
Yeah,
because I lost my dad 3 years ago, so watching him have that moment with him made me go, oh yeah, I miss my dad. Anyway, but it also, the fact it says it's hard for a good man to be a king, and I'm like, yeah, I can see how that'd be difficult, but I think he's up for the task. Again, I thought that, but I think he can do it.
Yeah.
And then
I totally vote him if he was like president.
Yeah, me too.
Not a king.
So also something cool, then the next scene we see is him and Akia walking into the city, which you see even more of what we were talking about, that mix of old and new. It's a great blend. It feels very much like what you see in like sometimes like sci-fi movies, where you see like they're on a different planet, or like you see like, I don't know, when they like show things like Atlantis, where it's like that combination of ancient and old ideas. Wakanda did that very beautifully too, like where you see that blend of technology and old, and you see it even more when they're with that scene. But the music that's playing when they're walking in reminded me of like a mixture of like kind of like bossa nova and samba a little bit. The music playing in the background kind of had that feel, which makes sense.
Oh, makes sense, because the Brazilian culture, the samba and other music and enfim, that kind of thing.
I thought it really reminded me of bossa nova.
Comes from, but comes from this mix from Europe and
Mm-hmm.
Africa and the
Yeah.
natives, the Brazilian natives, Brazilian Indians.
Mm-mm.
So
Native Americans,
it's a mix.
natives, the Brazilian natives. The term
What I say?
Indians, we don't use that term anymore.
Okay, sorry,
Are you Bella? Where did you
sorry.
go? Wait.
Um,
Sorry, your sound cut off for a second. I'm like, wait, don't.
I'm
No,
here.
but your sound cut off for a second. I'm like, please don't say anything important. We won't be able to hear you. I can hear you now.
Okay. So it's a mix of a lot of different
Mm-hmm.
cultures, and one of them is from
Yeah.
Africa.
The
So
drums, like the
makes
drums, right?
sense.
Our drums have a lot of African influence, are from Africa, right? Some of the drums we use, yeah,
Hmm.
for our music.
Yeah. So makes
Yeah.
sense.
Um,
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot. Oh,
To record.
no, of course I'm recording. I'm not that dumb. I mean, I have my moments, but I think I remember to record.
Well,
So no, I was just looking at what I wrote down some things to make sure that I wanted to say, because I'm like, I have, as we know, we have a tendency to run
okay.
off everywhere, and I'm like, wait, I want to make sure I say some
Yeah.
things. I love the scene, Agor, and
Uh-huh.
then of course one of our favorite one. I think it's also one of the scenes that you really like too is the scene within the lab.
Mm.
When the
Mm-hmm.
lab and
Yeah, the lab.
I love the moment where he's like looking at the choices between like what his suit looks like now, and she goes, oh, it's so old school, that, and don't forget to put on your helmet.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, really, come on, let's make this more practical. And then she has like this design of like this very like gold necklace, and then there's also a nice one, and I love the fact that he looks at the gold and he goes, you like that one? And he goes, tempting, but the point is to not be noticed, showing again this ability for him to be like, no, I'm wisdom. Again, wisdom, and being like, no, I don't need to show up. It's also something that I think my dad also taught me too. This ability, like, this because you know how to do something doesn't necessarily mean you need to show off that you do. You just know. So
Mm-hmm.
he's very much like, I am this. I need to be this, but I don't need to show off. I don't need to show all these great things. I already know. And so
it's the opposite of Tony Stark.
Tony Stark, yeah, and also Killmonger, if you really want to think about it, because Killmonger goes for the flashy one.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, but Killmonger. Let's talk about Killmonger.
Shall we? Yes.
Well, I understand his motivation.
Yes, I do.
Like, I can see where all
frustration
this
and
frustration
anger
and rage,
mm-hmm.
comes. But that's the difference between him and T'Challa. T'Challa is the guy who tries to talk about the thing and resolve with
so
peace.
basically they're like the same side, they're two different sides of the same coin, kind of.
Yeah, and Killmonger is like do everything by strength,
by force, strength.
Yeah, by force.
And also I think the that scene in the museum where he's like basically like he's like asking her questions about like different masks and where all these different artifacts come from, and what he's saying, again, not wrong. What he's talking about is not wrong. And then they do that, and then Claw walks in, and then he shoots the guy, and then he lets the guy run away, and then shoots him, and it's just so that way it looks like amateurs. And then there's that moment where he grabs the mask and puts it on. And he goes, "What does that mean? Don't tell me that's vibranium too." He goes, "No, I'm just feeling it." I think that mask, that's a nod to the comic book of what the character of Killmonger, the cost wore in the comics. I think that was a nod to the comics.
I love this. If it's true,
I think I got that right.
It's like in the movie Wolverine. Yeah. That in the end, like, the one he goes to Japan, and in the end he receives the mask from the comics as a gift. I love this fan service.
Yeah, I love it when they kind of do the nods to like where their roots come from and whatnot. So I love that moment. And then of course you have to love the moment where where Fury is like, okay, now punch it, now kick it or strike it, and he does, and he sends the mannequin with his Black Panther costume flying, and she's like, what you throwing things in my lap? I don't do this to you. And she's like very pissed, and then she's like, okay. And then you see all the purple because of the vibranium that's like holding in all the kinetic energy. And then she goes, strike it again. And then you see her messing with her watch, and he goes, you're recording. She goes, don't worry about it. And she like steps back away from him. He strikes it. He falls down, and she's laughing. He goes, delete that footage. I love that moment. Again, it's very, very brother sisterly too.
Yes.
Also, when she goes to bow at him, and he's like, don't do that. Don't do that. When she's like trying to like, can I, oh my God. He's like, it's again, very much shows that he doesn't like that pomp and circumstance. He's like, no.
Yeah. They are friends after all.
They're more than friends. They're brother and sister, but they have a very great relationship.
Yeah, but not every brother and sister is friends.
No, that's very true.
They are.
They have a great relationship.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that he decides when he's going into the field to track down the vibranium, and Claw, he takes 2 women with him, right? He doesn't pick. And I like the fact that the reason why he takes Nakia is everyone's like, are you sure you want to take your ex with you? But the reason he picks her, he goes like, no, but she's amazing at this. And also, again, she's probably the person who blends in the most because that's her job, is to go out into the world and has connections and all these things. But I like the fact that the reason why he picks her is to say, no, she's the best one for the job. She's the one I trust to do this.
Yeah. You know how to separate things.
Yeah, because, and again, maybe because it's also a movie that's also made for families or children and stuff like that. There's also only so much things you can add into that story. There's no romantic moments between them throughout all of this. Okoye is there, and there's no time for it. And I think that's again, I think maybe one of the reasons why I like it, that there isn't that moment where they have to have the romantic, they have to have the woman there be the romantic. Like, no, it's not. It's part of the story, but it's not important in that moment or in that point in the story. I love the scene in the casino, I guess is what I'm calling that, the Secrets Casino.
Yeah, we can't call this a casino.
I also love the fact that Okoye is not happy that she has to wear a wig. She's like pissed.
I love the fight.
Oh, the fight's amazing.
I really like Ross.
Me too. Everett Ross.
He's so innocent. How can a CIA agent could be so innocent?
What do you mean?
So naive.
Why? That he doesn't know that they're what Wakanda is, or?
No, I mean the way that he is, like trusting so much T'Challa when he's talking to Okoye in their language, for example, and like he just trusts.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of what's his name?
But I like this on
I
him.
do too, but it reminds me of who is the character? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Avengers, Coulson. He reminds me of Coulson in that way.
Yeah. But yeah, Ross is more funny, I think.
No.
He has this rubbish way to speak.
Yeah. But
it's very Hobbit.
Well, yeah, he did play a Hobbit. Speaking of Hobbit, can I just point out the scene where they've captured Claw? But before we get to that, can I say I also love the scene where they're like, the car chase is amazing, right? They're driving through.
Amazing. Okoye surfing the.
Also, I love her line, "Guns, so primitive." I also love that moment. She's like, "Guns, so primitive." I love her. And then like she's like on like the door of the car because the car explodes. She's like trying to like stop herself with the car door, and you just see Nakia show up driving, holding a wheel. I thought that was great.
I love.
And then I also had that moment where T'Challa tells because he throws that equipment onto the onto the car so that way Shuri can drive it for him remotely.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's the scene where she says I think she basically runs over a person that that fell out of a car or whatever it was. And the way he says, "Don't worry about it, you're doing great," makes me think of a video game. Every time he says it sounds like a line from a video game. Like, you know, like
it's true.
It does sound like
it's true.
it just made me think of that every time I saw it. It made me think of a video game. And then I love the fact, so that scene where they've captured Claw, they're all hanging around there, and you have that moment with them talking, and I'm so mad at myself that you see Claw and Everett standing together. You see Andy Serkis and Martin Freeman. And my brain, it took me seeing a meme of this for me to realize that, because the meme says the two token white guys in Black Panther. And the play on words is that token is in like that. You have to have that one character to make people feel like that who they can relate to, right? That door. And Tolkien, as in J.R.R. Tolkien, as in the writer of The Hobbit, which they both starred in. And I'm looking at the two of them, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so mad at myself.
I didn't notice this when I watched it.
Me neither. Someone else said it to me, and I'm like, I feel so pissed at myself because I forgot who shared it with me. Pointed it out, and I'm like, why did I not think? I was so mad at myself for not realizing it.
Yeah.
So mad at myself.
I'm feeling this now, right now. I'm feeling this.
Why didn't I not realize that?
Yeah. Do you know other scene that reminds me of a video game?
What?
The one when T'Challa falls from the fight with Killmonger, and he falls. Yeah, and he falls in the river, and he survives.
Yeah, very video game-esque. Speaking of that fight with
very
Killmonger,
video game.
Can I just point out my biggest? First off, I love that scene. The first time I watched it, I'm like, wait, what are they going to do here? Because obviously he's not going to die, because then there's no more movies. They're not going to.
Obviously.
So I'm watching this, and I'm like,
you can kill him.
How this going to go, right? But I have to say something else too. So, not going to negate, not going to argue with anyone who was basically, when they were promoting this movie, there'd be a lot of interviews talking about Michael B. Jordan, him shirtless in the movie, and how good he looks. Not arguing the fact that he looks good. He's gorgeous.
Yeah, he is.
That's not my issue. My issue is with people being like, oh my God, he looks amazing. I'm like, can we also focus on the fact that those marks on his body means how many people he's killed? No? Okay.
And there is 1,000 of them?
It's all over. It's like, except for his neck and his face, all you see are these indentations. Again, he's gorgeous. Yeah. But I'm like, can we maybe not point out how hot the villain is? Because that's something I find, we have a discussion about this from the time. The idea that because he's hot, he's allowed to be bad or villainous or whatever it is. I don't like this. So I just look at that.
I don't like either.
I know he's good looking, but can we focus on the fact that he's not supposed to? He's the villain of the piece. Just maybe no. Okay. Well, not the villain, but yeah. So then he wins.
No, he is the villain.
Yeah.
Like
he tries to destroy Wakanda.
Even we understanding the motivations doesn't allow him to kill people.
No. Or destroy Wakanda in the
process. Inciting people to get take weapons and kill each other and make revolution all over the world. Like, imagine like a big revolution. How many people will die on this fight? Yeah, it's for a good cause. Like, okay, I understand. It's for equality. He doesn't want equality. He wants like to change, like to put just to
Wakanda the rule. I think
erase the white guys on the earth.
I don't know. I don't remember. All I know is that For me, I remember two things that made me think, are we sure this is the person you would want to be the leader? It's one, he kills his girlfriend because Claw uses her as a human shield and he wants to get information. So he kills her because she's in his way. Really not the person who doesn't value human life. Not the best.
No.
Second, he
No.
becomes the Black Panther and wants to destroy all the heart-shaped herbs so that way no one else can ever become Black Panther. What? Like, that's not something someone you want running your country, because she's not going to live forever.
Wait. How Shuri will become Black Panther now?
That is a very good question. They're going to have to find a way to answer. I mean, he destroyed them, but they probably have found a way to bring it, like regrow it or whatever it is, right? He was going to destroy it. And not ever
it's a movie.
It's a movie. He probably destroyed it.
It's a movie, so they can,
didn't want it to come back. Like,
they can just say that, oh, there is one that survived.
Yeah, they'll find a way. But it's also the fact that, you know, he destroyed it and never wanted it to ever have to grow again. Whereas if you find someone else who wants to find a way to bring it back, it's different. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Again, it's one of those things that if you've been watching the movie so many times, you think of. And then I love the moment with M'Baku when they, like, you know, the scene between Okoye and Akia where she's like, I'm loyal to that throne, right?
Yeah.
So, and then Akia's like, she wants to be loyal to the family, the people who were supposed to be the right rulers. And then, of course, but I love the fact that you can see that she's loyal to the throne, but she's also protective of them because she says for them to run, to get away, because she doesn't want anything to happen to them. So that also shows the compassion she has.
But yeah, I think this loyalty is a beautiful thing of her, like. But it's also beautiful that she realized that the throne means Wakanda as a whole, you know, not only the throne but the city, the country. And when she realized that Killmonger will destroy the throne, so she turns against him. So it's not the blind loyalty that she has.
Very true. So I sorry.
Yes.
I think what I want to say. Okay, so during that big, so there's two things. I love the scene where they go to M'Baku, giving him the herb, saying, "Please, you have to take this. We can't have him on the throne. He's going to destroy everything." I love the fact that he says, "I have him to show you," and basically he found T'Challa and help save him, and he gives him the herb, and he allows him to take back the mantle as Black Panther, right? I thought that was very beautiful. But I do love the scene where Everett is trying to talk, and he just starts barking at them. He goes, "The next time you open your mouth, I'm going to eat you." I'm just kidding. We're vegetarians. Cracks me up every time. I just love the way he delivers that line. That, and of course, when everyone is saying, "Oh, we're going to fight, we're going to go," and he's holding hands with Nakia, everything like that. I just love M'Baku at the end of it. Are we done? Are we done? Like, he's just not having it. But I love that.
It's amazing.
And then I love the fact that you also see like him appear where he goes, as you can see, I never yielded, and as you can see, I'm not dead. So he comes back, which is now a very sad line if you think about it. But he walks up, and that whole massive fight begins, and they're trying to win, and Shuri is an Nakia. She gives Nakia the Dora Milaje the uniform. I love that moment too, where she says, she just put it on its armor. Like, right now is not the time for you to be concerned with, this is armor, you need it, let's go. And then, of course, when like the rhino is about to attack M'Baku, Okoye stands in front of him and just licks her face. I just love that moment.
Like a pet.
Yeah, it's so cute. I think that one, it's funny, right? And of course, when she, I also love the fact too that there's another moment too, like when Killmonger is fighting with Shuri, right? And on the field, you see T'Challa being attacked by this massive amount of people attacking him, right? And I love the fact that what I think motivates him to like release to like fight off is the fact that he sees his sister struggling. Again, it feels that very much that idea of it. I'm not someone else. If it's someone I love or someone else is in danger, I'm going to definitely do my best to help them, whatever it is. Again, showing his caring, his the spirit of someone who wants to do something for other people. Because he's like he and then the what sparked him to like be like, oh no, I have to get out of this, is seeing his sister. And I thought that was
he's very hero, like
heroic. Yes.
It's like it's not heroic. It's the stereotype of a hero.
Yeah. And then you have, I remember the first time you see M'Baku appear, when he like grabs the guy and throws him off. The first time I saw this movie, it freaked me out because somehow he looked like a massive giant the first time I saw it. Like something about the way I don't know if I saw it he is big, but the way I saw it in 4D or whatever it was, like where the chairs move and it's like a ride, but it's also in 3D. I don't know what it was, maybe that distorted how I saw it, but he looked massive, like not human massive, like almost Hulk-esque the first time I saw that. And I'm like, and then I rewatched it. I'm like, how did I get that confusion that he looks, he looks really strong and menacing, but he doesn't look like he superhuman, like he doesn't look like he's actual giant, like beyond human height. And so that's the first time I saw that, I had that moment of being like, huh. But yeah, that was a weird moment to have to be like, uh-oh. But so the only
well, this is an amazing movie, and now I want to watch this again just by talking about it.
Me too. But I do want to say something else.
What?
One thing I want to say is that I had been thinking a lot about this. So 2016, I volunteered for an event during Comic-Con called Nerd HQ. It's an event that was designed by an actor named Zachary Levi, who plays Shazam, and he's also Flynn Rider, the voice of Flynn Rider in Tangled, and also my favorite TV show, Chuck, and my perfect man. He does this event where he holds this place where you basically the whole design of it is to raise money for an event, a charity called Operation Smile. You once you paid $20 to go see a panel, you paid $20 to get an autograph, you paid $20 to get a picture taken with celebrities who donated their time to go there. The place had 180 gaming stations, all for free, and the Nerd HQ only made money if you bought their merchandise, which is why I bought their merchandise, so that way they can continue doing this every year. Chadwick Boseman was there. He did an interview. I didn't get a chance to see it, but I was at least in the same building as the man for one time in my life. But so I thought, why not do something interesting? Like, how everyone now maybe probably wants to watch movies that he's done, everything that he's done before, right? It would be great if you could take the idea of like what Nerd HQ did, where they, why not give, like, people pay to go watch the movie, right? Pay to rent a movie, buy the movie, whatever it is, especially since a lot of the movies he's done are very strong historical figures, which probably is important to also watch as well. It'd be great to also see that money go to something to honor Chadwick, maybe cancer research, maybe children's cancer research, or another movement that's anything else. But I feel like, why not do something else? Because also, it's honoring the actor by promoting the movies he's done and paying tribute to him and the work he's done, but also doing something beautiful and also, honoring him in a way that maybe he was very passionate about visiting kids in hospitals who've had cancer. So why not do that?
Yes.
Why not have conscientious capitalism where we get something out of it ourselves, but we also, maybe they can even charge a little bit more or whatever it is that they want to do, maybe give special features. But I'd be more inclined to be happy to spend that money if I knew that some of it was going to something good.
Sure. Me too. And I think this would be wonderful. Like, it's a wonderful idea.
Thank
you. Like you said, I would pay for buy something or like a photo or autograph or a movie that
I wouldn't
that
normally. I
like
may.
in a normal situation. Like in a normal situation, I wouldn't buy, but for a
Yeah.
good cause, for something
Yeah.
that I like,
Same here.
I would pay.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
don't,
like
I can't justify spending money for an autograph. For me, I feel like, I wanted to
hmm
meet the celebrity, take a pic. But the idea of it goes, but it's going to something great. I feel like I'd be more inclined to want to buy it.
yeah, yeah. And I want to finish this episode
Mm-hmm.
saying how important all that he did was for the cause of Black people,
Yep.
and it's so like you said before, it's so sad that we lost him in a moment that it's so strong, that fight
Mm-hmm.
in the world
Mm-hmm.
with the movement Black Lives Matters. Yeah. I said correctly.
Black Lives Matter. Yeah.
Black Lives Matter. And with like there is movement in every country, I believe, like
Yeah.
here in Brazil, uh
As it should.
it's
I mean,
growing. Yeah, it's growing
it's
this.
upsetting that we have to be having this movement after all these years. We're still.
Yeah,
This is why I say
sure.
maybe we should study history a little bit more. So stop repeating it and not thinking that it's important or things have changed when they have not.
Yeah, but he was it's so sad
It is.
that an important personality died in a moment that was so important
Have
to
more
him to
people
be
like him
here.
around. Yes, I agree.
Yes, yes. Like imagine
But it's not.
how many things he could
Oh
do,
yeah, but
like
not only that.
in
I
the like if in his life, but in the same time, I think he was fighting the cancer since 2016, and he hides this for like to everybody. Sorry, I said wrong.
no, I didn't.
He
Yeah.
hides for the world that he's fighting the cancer, and he was so strong for doing the Black Panther, and with so many actions scenes, and hiding this,
Mm-hmm.
not showing, like
I don't know
like
how he did it,
he was
man.
so strong. He was very, 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 very strong. Like the body was strong, but also the soul was strong to
Yeah.
support all this. And well, I can't. I don't have words.
Either.
You know, I
It's
it's well, but oh yeah, I remember now. I He was fighting.
Mhm.
He decides to hide, and I believe he decides to do his best with the time that he gets.
Yeah. It kind of makes me think of the song from
And
Hamilton.
he did.
Yeah.
And he did.
It makes me think of a song from
The
Hamilton
most
called
important.
yeah, the song
Yeah.
from Hamilton
Well,
called "Nonstop." The line of it
mm-hmm.
says, "Why do you?" It's Aaron Burr singing about Hamilton. He goes, "Why do you write like you're running out of time?"
Mm-hmm.
The man, and also the man is on top, and I feel like that kind of describes the last one. Like if you see it, he's always doing things, constantly doing things. Like why is he? It kind of feels like
Mm-hmm.
why were you doing this? Like you're running out of time. Well, he was. Unfortunately, he
Yeah.
was running out of time. But they
Yeah.
also, I think I read somewhere that they thought that he was going to beat it and he was going to be able to come back to play. And fortunately, it didn't.
Yeah. Well, um, uh, I'm getting emotional now, and I'm about
Me
to
too.
cry.
Me too.
But I just, if you were a fan of Chadwick, I think you should look for the homenagem. How is homenagem in English?
Homage. What do you want to look for? What?
Homenagem.
But what is it that you wanted to say so that way I can try to?
Oh, ok. Aqui, a homenagem da atriz que fez a Shuri pra ele.
Sasha, no, what do you? Sorry, what do you?
Is that-
What is it that you want to say? Say it in Portuguese. What you want to say so that way I can figure
Okay.
it out how to say it in English.
A homenagem que a atriz que fez a Shuri fez para o Chadwick. Foi
Oh,
linda.
the homage she paid to him.
Yeah.
They actually play Shuri paid to him.
Yeah, she and Michael B. Jordan as
Mhm.
well. If you are a fan, look for this on homage
This homage.
because it was beautiful.
Yeah, it's very beautiful.
Homage because it was very beautiful, and I yeah, I think we should finish this before we stop crying.
Okay, well, on that incredibly bittersweet, sad note, that please like us or subscribe to our podcast wherever it is. Our podcast is available wherever you listen to podcasts, but please like or subscribe. That way more people can find us. Also, write reviews. Let us know what you think. Yeah, because this is, again, first episode. We want to know what do you think of it, and if you like what we're doing. Hope you enjoy.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
See you next episode.